I am Debbie Sherman, co-founder of One Breath Institute, and with me is Lisa McNett, founder of One Breath Institute. And today we are going to be talking about how not everyone gets to have access to your life. So let me just say that one more time, because I've had to hear this a few times, and Lisa's had to remind me a couple of times too. Not everyone gets access to your life. So initially you may be having some feelings and some thoughts. And as we dive into it, I'm just going to ask Lisa, can you elaborate a little bit more about what that means?
Yeah. And it's interesting how you said that, because you said not everyone gets access to your life. And I would just say, not everyone gets access to you, period. So it's like, yeah, your life is part. And I think like just keeping it to that, not everyone gets access to you is like taking it a step further, because if not everybody gets access to your life, then that just might mean that they still have access to me, but there's parts of me that I'm withholding, or parts of me that I'm not allowing them to understand, or I'm not allowing them to interact or engage with, or allowing them to see. But when we say not everybody gets access to you, and for me, that's a reminder that not everybody gets my time, my energy, my attention, me responding to them quickly on a text message or an email. We don't have to jump whenever anybody reaches out or wants something from us.
Yeah, so clearly I'm still integrating this concept because, and I'm sure those who are watching or listening can relate. I was taught to be available at all times. I was taught that if I was called upon, if my name was called, I must answer, or there was some type of consequence. And I think naturally within myself and others who connect with maybe feeling as if they're an empath or just sensitive, the desire to want to be available for people, to want to connect, to help, or to support in any way is there and exists. And there's just the question of what that looks like and what access looks like. So thank you for bringing in that part of having access to me or having access to you, because you're right. You're absolutely right. People can have access to our lives in different pieces and different capacities, but to have access to our uniqueness, our authenticity, and all of those parts is a completely different game.
Yes, and yes, and I can relate to this as well. It's been something that I had to work through. I had to learn. I had to like shake and sweat to get over. There was a time in my life, I'm old enough that I had a life before cell phones. And I actually didn't want a cell phone ever, because I liked having my privacy. I liked that, if somebody called my phone when I was not home, they had to leave a message. And when I got the message, maybe I'd call them back, maybe not. But when I became a general manager of a nightclub that was open late, and all the time things were happening, and I was the person who was the emergency contact for the alarm and the fire alarm and everything like that, I was told, you have to have the cell phone and you have to sleep with it under your pillow. So so I slept with a phone under my pillow and was accessible at all times for a while. And that got me into that, like being accessible at all times, and got me trained into that, became a habit. But I want to speak to what you said about being an empath and being somebody who wants to help, because there's a piece that's really big in that. There's a really big piece here, and I imagine you can relate to it. And I imagine everyone who calls themselves an empath or who considers themselves somebody who wants to help can relate to this. We might want to help, and at the same time, oftentimes feel depleted or taken advantage of, or like we don't have enough energy, or like we were misunderstood in what we did to try to help, and somehow now we're like the villain, or any number of things that can happen that that don't feel good, that just really don't, they leave us not feeling good at all. And so there's this sort of like push pull that comes with that experience of like wanting to be a helper, wanting to be available, wanting to jump, but then also knowing on a level, maybe we're not willing to ourselves so much, but we are able to recognize on some level that it is to our detriment because we don't have enough time, energy, all of that to give. And so with that in mind, I would just say that taking this shift and recognizing there's several things, and you can cut me off if you want to jump in. But one thing is that sometimes people need to figure things out on their own, or they need to become more empowered on their own to take action, to solve their own issues. And so we can be doing them a disservice if we jump right in to try to save the day for them, or, to take action right away. And if we really protect our energy more, our time, our energy, and recognize it as a precious and vital gift, then we have more to do. We have more to offer. We have more to give to those who deserve it.
Yes. So let's take a breath, everyone. Lisa, breathe with me, because this piece of, I guess how I'm paraphrasing what you say, just stepping in your power, honoring yourself, setting the example, taking care of yourself is more than enough. And it's always enough. And that is accessible because your light, your flame will reach people without having to take physical action of doing something that you may want to, but there's also parts where you also may not want to, where you're considering crossing your boundaries. So thank you for bringing in that piece, and let's take a breath with that. Okay, so any last thoughts or feelings about having access right now? Any last thoughts or feelings?
Last thoughts, last feelings.
For now.
For
I'm
now,
sure we can pick it up again.
I mean,
elaborate
I'm just
more.
thinking about how this is enough. I think it's, I would love to hear people's comments, how this hits. And yeah, based on what people have to say, we can do another video.
All right, that sounds good. So yeah, so people who are watching this now, feel free to reply with comments in what way that seems fit. And we look forward to hearing your experiences and specifically how our words hit you today. So talk soon and more later. Till next time.
And we're going to drop the link. We're dropping the link below for how you can join our Awakened membership, joining the One Breath community. We have an Awakened membership, and that's just a portal where you can easily access the links to our free breathwork sessions. You can easily access all kinds of great stuff that we have going on, including our retreat that's coming up in January, all the information, little membership portal. So you can find it site to onebreathinstitute.com. Right on the homepage, you can see a free Awakened membership, or again, below the video.
Below the video. Okay. Till next time, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks, Debbie.